Roberts, finding in a divine profit, just won it in a photo. And that's when his spirit has pinched the Oaks by 4 lengths. The favourite also was winning gold. Long out, he's in the front lane, the race out. Prize Tiger won it by 2.5. A great coming moment. Albandon and Heartbreak City want to finish to the Melbourne Cup. They hit the line now. Albandon won it.
So the spring rolls on. It actually doesn't roll on, it charges on today because we're at Flemington for the Group 1 Seppel Turnbull, and Winks is at Flemington today for the first time, and we go to Royal Randwick for the Group 1 Spring Champion. A colossal day of racing, but it's fair to say that everybody in Australia that likes sport and loves their racing will be watching the Turnbull today because Winks will be running, as I said, for the first time at Flemington. So at Flemington today, not only Winks, the Cox Plate champion and the favourite, but also Albandon, the Melbourne Cup champion and currently the favourite for the Cup. And Humidor, until about a week ago, was favourite for the Caulfield Cup, and he takes on Winks today. Here's the program today. All stakes races, and we commence with the third, the UCI Stakes. A couple of scratchings there, 13 and 16. No scratchings out of the Gilgai or the Seppel Turnbull Stakes. The Ilwood Manifold, 2 out there, 7 and 14. The Buck Cummings, a couple of important scratchings. Broadsides come out for Gay, and also Crocodile Rock for Lloyd and Robert Hickmott. The Blazer Stakes, a number of scratchings there, 3, 6, 8, 15 and 19. And in the final event, the Paris Lane, 3 and 7. So at Royal Randwick today, we pick it up in race 3. The Adina Apartment take out the 8. The Highway take out 8 and 13. 8 and 13. The Office Furniture, nothing. The Roman Consul, Snitzcraft has travel sickness. That's bad luck for Lee Matthews' colt. The Spring Champion Stakes is all clear, the Group 1. The Angst, 11 and 12 come out, one of those running in the Blazer today in Melbourne. And the final event of the program, 5 and 16 come out. And let's go to Flemington. Jason Richardson out there today. Great to have him there. Hey, Richo, has she arrived? I guess she has.
It's wonderful to have you as part of our coverage today, Bruce, and this is the reason we're all here at fabulous Flemington, the arrival of the Queen of the World Turf. And I say that because she's the highest ranked turf horse in the world. It is the mighty Winks. She's here for her 21st birthday celebration. Can she get 21 consecutive wins? She looks a treat. It's a very first race at fabulous Flemington. Keep in mind she is trained here, so I'm sure Flemington will be no concern at all. 14th Group 1, that'll put her one behind Black Caviar. We cannot wait. There's flags, huge crowds. Flemington is abuzz with Winks fever.
Isn't she beautiful? Richo, looking pretty sharp yourself. Grace, donning your Winks blue today. Bit of a fan and excited to see her at Flemington.
I most certainly am a fan. And look, we've been looking forward to seeing her race again in Melbourne since last year's Cox Plate. And today we get to see her make her Flemington debut. We've seen her overcome pretty much everything in Sydney at her most recent starts. And she is 4th up today. And at her most recent campaigns, when she's raced 4th up, she's pretty much exploded. And I think we're going to see something pretty special today.
Can't wait to see you cheering trackside. That's all coming up here from Flemington.
Thanks for that, Emma. And of course, here she is. We just saw her get off the float, looking absolutely superb. A gear change today. So the earmuffs come off today?
Yeah, they come off. You've ridden a lot of horses in earmuffs. Do you think that'll make a difference, Michelle?
I think that's something that really should be taken into account today. As a jockey, you notice the earmuffs, can be such a great asset to get a horse to settle, but in some ways they can make them settle too well and become too complacent. And a lot of us talk about it in the jockeys' room and say, sometimes it can feel like they can lose up to 5 lengths. So when she's come off the bridle between the 6 and 800 in her last 2 runs, that may have been well and truly because of the earmuff. So we might see a different horse today.
So there was a late scratching here in Grand Challenge.
Down the outside, Ranier and Scottish Rogue. It's Nomathage at the 200 metres with Sunlight under hands and heels crossing the Abbey, the outside, and Ranier. Nomathage and Sunlight with 100 metres to go, and Ranier lifting the outer. It's Nomathage just in front. Ranier wearing it down. They go to the post. This is pretty close. Nomathage or Ranier photo. Sunlight crossing.
Nomathage got it. So Sheikh Hamdan beats Sheikh Mohammed there. So $4.60 and $1.80 Ranier, and Sunlight for Tony McAvoy. So it was Godolphin second for James James Cummings. So we come to the second for the 3-year-olds, the Antler Luggage. Icon of Dubai was the favourite.
He quickens up at the 300, leads by over a length. Snitzpeg, Sir Coney, Esperance trying to chime in with Icon of Dubai, Relson and Holmes the widest. Snitzpeg below the 200 took the front from Sir Coney, then Esperance, Bravo Tango. Snitzpeg with 100 metres to go leads by over a length from Bravo Tango and Snitzpeg. Snitzpeg by a half, Bravo Tango. Third Sir Coney, fourth in the race, Relson, followed by...
So Darren Weir and Dean Yendelay, what a combination they are. That one a roughie, well I say a roughie, it's $17 over Bravo Tango, who's a promising horse as well, and Sir Coney, the size winner. So 8, 9 and 2. Believe it or not, 4 races so far in the 2 states, and Stitzel's side 3 of the winners. He is a phenomenon, isn't he? Hey, there's Winks, just being hosed down. We've seen her arrive, we've seen her have a little walk, and she looks 100%. Her race is not that far away. We'll be back on the 3rd in Sydney coming up.
Like it's going to be one of the leaders in the race, if not the sole leader. Silence Edition has drawn the outside stall to the right of Spieth. Silence Edition comes in now, and they're set. Ready to run the famous straight 6 course at Flemington. The Gilgai, they're ready. And racing, pretty good line as well. Keener Ray jumped away quickly outside of Malibu Style, and they share it early. Ullman's right up there on the premises, and not far away on the inside is Sold for Song, a little bit closer than expected. Out wider, Silence Edition's pushing up with Bonds Away and Spieth. Also tracking that group is the quarterback, Land of Plenty, towards the end. So Malibu Style, with 800 metres to go, leads a fired up Keener Ray, Bonds Away the outside. Sold for Song behind those, tracking that runner, Land of Plenty. Bonds Away up the middle with Silence Edition with the white cap. Spieth second last. The quarterback is the widest with the pink jacket. So with 500 to go, it's Malibu Style with Keener Ray. Sold for Song dug up behind those horses. Bonds Away not far away, out deeper from Silence Edition. Ullman, Land of Plenty back to the inside. Spieth with a bit of work to do, but is about to wind up, followed by the quarterback. It's Keener Ray, Malibu Style. They sprint up at the 250. Bonds Away a length away. Sold for Song is still there. It's Keener Ray in front of Malibu Style. Bonds Away and Sold for Song still coming. Keener Ray, 50 metres to go. Sold for Song, Malibu Style lifting. Sold for Song comes at Keener Ray or Sold for Song. I'd say that's the order, but it's tight. Malibu Style, then Bonds Away. Next in the field, Silence Edition, Land of Plenty, Ullman. Spieth was second last of the main group, and a long gap to the quarterback.
Gee, some surprises here. Long gap to the quarterback. Spieth, well, he's in trouble, that's for sure. Keener Ray, well, all his wins have been at Caulfield, his big wins. Sold for Song gets up on the inside. They have a terrific battle. Malibu Style's right there. You are so right, Michelle, about his toughness. And I think Keener Ray probably gets it, and he does for Mark Zara and Hayes again. So Hayes, Dabinick, a couple of close photo finishes. That's a great training effort. They've kept him going. It's his 5th run this time in. Sold for Song, I guess, a bit of a surprise. Malibu Style, a good solid run. Bonds Away. Silence Edition out of the first 4 for the first time, and I've got to say, there's a massive question mark over Spieth now.
Yeah, well, Keener Ray, congratulations, Dave. That would probably be a relief to get him back at his absolute best.
Yes, he has been struggling a little bit. I thought last week a bit disappointed. Good run at the Valley and disappointing at Caulfield, but he just jumped out with the right attitude today. He was wanting to go faster the whole way and fought hard, and I actually thought he got beat.
Isn't it remarkable about these straight races, how the tempo sort of drops out? You need to be right there.
Yeah, these days you do. Years ago, when I first started training, swoopers used to win all the time, but on paces these days.
Okay, he handles the straight. Have you got a race picked out for him through the carnival?
Yeah, that race on Derby Day, it used to be called the Pure Pack, I'm showing my age, but the Derby Day race, the Group 2.
Okay, you would have won that a few times in the past, I would have thought.
Yeah, I think we won it last year. So
I think you might have as well. Oh, that's great news for him. He's back, and also a double for the stable. A nice 2-year-old win too.
Yes, kicked off that 2-year-old season well, and she's got a lot of quite talented friends.
He's always an optimist, as his father was, but he's got good reason to be. They just keep on winning. He's a genius, isn't he, David Hayes? So Keener Ray, well, as Matt Campbell told us, he was well backed. He's come right into 7.5. Sold for Song, good run. She's a very good first upper. And Malibu Style, strong effort in the first 4 with Bonds Away, up to nearly $20,000. So big stuff there. Damien Lane, we're going to talk to after this. Of course, he's riding Humidor, who's probably the only danger, and a serious one to Winks today. Waiting for, haven't we? Because the next race is at Flemington is the VRC Turnbull, and it's Winx for the first time at Australia's most famous track. And she takes on Humidor in the Group 1. Cheers. So Plush winning the previous, but we're about to come to Flemington now with the Turnbull Stakes. And I think Richo might be with Chris Waller right now. Richo.
Well, Chris, the calm before the storm, mate. And we see a lot of people who are here to see your horse. That must give you a really special feeling.
Yeah, it sure does. She's been great for us, and it's good to see so many people following her. She's a bright star of racing at the moment, and yeah, everybody's seeing her. So, yeah, it's a very humbling experience, to say the least.
She had a terrific preparation. Monday was superb. How's she saddled up today?
Yeah, everything's going to plan. So we're midway through the season with a couple of very big runs to come. Obviously, today, the semi-final into the grand final in 3 weeks' time being the Cox Plate. But this is a very important race for her. She's taking on a very good horse in Humidor. And obviously you always respect other horses in the race. Hayes have got a runner, Team Williams and Robert Hickmott have got runners, so they're good enough to be competitive. Don't worry about that, it's no walkover, and we've certainly got the utmost respect for Humidor.
Top of the straight, will you be in front of Humidor, you think?
No idea. The beauty is I'm handing the reins over to Hugh Bowman in about 5 minutes' time. I can't relax, but I can hand the responsibility over, and there's no better man for it. He's a superstar.
You've had a cold, and it's been lingering around for a fair few weeks. Is it the pressure of dealing with this freak?
I guess it's a little bit different. We're not trained to handle with these types of circumstances. I'm a horse trainer, not a media man or anything like that. And yeah, it's a long day when you're involved with a horse like Winx, but it's certainly a proud moment.
Well, this tunnel is very keen to see her, mate. We'll let you get your vantage point. Thanks for your time.
Thanks very much.
Good luck, bud.
Well, just like Pete Moody with Black Caviar has been superb. I mean, he's a incredible trainer, we know that. So here she comes, hey? Flemington for the first time. It's important that she's raced here. If it's the only time she went to Flemington, because it's the Eton Royal Randwick is the two biggest tracks. Yeah.
It's headquarters in Victoria, and it is the premier track in Victoria, I think it's fair to say. And all these people have come out today, and there's a wonderful crowd out there on a beautiful day. They want to see this mare win. And I reckon she'll deliver for them, because I think she looks better than she did in Sydney.
You do?
Yeah, I think she's got a few dapples on her now, and she didn't have them in Sydney.
And for Huey Bowman, well, he hands the reins over, and Huey, of course, now with the connections, and the connections are almost as well known as the trainer and the jockey now, aren't they? Deb Capitas, particularly, of course, with the Ingham connection and the flamboyance of her and just the nervousness they talk about, the connections. It's almost an ordeal for them to go through.
There'd be a few nervous butterflies going through Hugh's stomach right now, I'd imagine, but at least he knows her so well. He's ridden her in every start she's had, and I think as a jockey that just gives you such confidence going out there that you're an item. You know each other, and I think that will help settle the nerves for him today. But you could imagine the pressure he's under.
Does he have a set plan, do you think, today?
Well, I think the set plan is it's the first 400 metres is set plan, and then it's play it by ear. Humidor, this horse, he has really stepped up, hasn't he? His last start win was excellent, even though he was hanging in a little bit in the run last start, coming down to the wire. He just had too much for a very strong field. You always rated him a very good horse, but I think he stepped up a notch last start.
Yeah, definitely. I think he surprised a lot of people, even Darren Weir, his trainer. But it's going to be so interesting to see the tactics that they both used today, because Winx is drawn in 2, Humidor in 4. Whether he tries to put her in a pocket or whether he just rides his own race, that's another thing. But as you can see, she looks fantastic. Like you said, the dapples have come out. She's walking beautifully in the mounting yard, and she looks as a picture of health.
Just for people who don't see a lot of racehorses, you'll see on her neck, and when the light hits her in a certain way, the sort of like variegated skin, little like light and dark patches. They're dapples, and when they start coming through in a horse's coat in spring, you know that horse is in tip-top condition.
So if you didn't know she was the great mare, does she look like a great horse to you?
Well, I've always said she's not spectacular. I've seen better looking horses, I've seen bigger horses, I've seen horses with a better stride than her, but I've never seen one, I don't think, with a motor as big as hers.
Well, Ventura Storm, he's won 2 Group 1s in Italy. He's a serious horse, and I think he's ready to show his best.
He's a very nice horse, this horse, and I think a bit underrated at this stage in Australia because he's progressing to the distances where he's most competitive over, and as you can see, just a beautiful looking horse to go with it. He's a stallion, and I think he'll make his presence felt here today as well.
So that's Ventura Storm. And let's go back to Richo. He's with the trainer of Humidor.
Well, Weary, you've just legged up Damien Lane. I can see your boy. He's always on his toes, but he's on pretty good behaviour today.
Yeah, I think he's paraded the best he has ever so far, so hopefully that's a good sign, Richo.
As a racing fan, you're in an interesting position here. You're the enemy for the first time.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't think we'll win the battle, but anyway, it'll... as long as all horses get around safe and both horses get their chance, I guess, and may the best one win.
And you've said all along, Caulfield Cup's the #1 goal, so this is a race you weren't keen to avoid her?
Nah, never going to avoid it, no matter what was in it. It was the perfect preparation, and I think just looking at him today, in a fortnight's time, he'll look absolutely spot on. Couldn't be happy with my horse, and yeah, it's just good to see Winks in flesh, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, what do you think of her?
Oh, she's a machine, isn't she? A big strong thing, walks around like she owns the joint, but anyway, racing's a funny thing, Richo.
What did you say to Frosty?
No instructions, I said just make sure you ride him to be strong through the line, that was it.
Okay, so you think the way the speed maps, so you'll probably be giving Winks a head start at the top of the straight.
I would have thought we're probably gonna be on her back, hopefully. You know, the way it sort of maps is she's gonna land box seat. Hopefully there's a couple that run along and we'll just be in behind that, but it's just importantly that he does everything right, gets his chance and make sure he has a good hit out late.
Normally I'm barracking for you, mate. Not necessarily today, but good luck.
No worries, thanks.
Weary there. There she is. Huey Bowman is on his way to the barrier. Richo, you're there amongst it. We're sitting here looking at it, and there she is. And as Richard and Michelle said, she looks superb. I mean, just a couple of things. Crowd, the buzz, and just the feeling of having her at Flemington.
Well, just have a look around, Bruce. I know everyone in the studio is a little envious of me at the moment. I'm in a privileged position. Have a look at the crowd that has come out. This is Turnbull Stakes Day, but I've never seen a crowd like this at Turnbull Stakes Day, and it's here for one horse. It was interesting. She makes her way into the Theatre of the Horse at Randwick, and there's a bit of a cheer. Here it is so quiet. Everyone was so keen with their phones to get a vision of Winks. Everyone is so gobsmacked with her. Chris Wallace seems so calm. Huey Bowman's also calm, and he always is calm, isn't he? I just caught up with Mick Johnson, who's an owner of Humidor. He said, if my horse wins, my kids have told me they're not going to talk to me. That's how much they love Winks. So I think there's a lot of people at the moment that are barracking that we get the perfect result, 21 in a row, and then we get ready for her assault to join Kingston Town with 3 Cox Place. Wonderful atmosphere here at Flemington.
Incredible. And just quickly, Skyfire, I've just got to mention him. You know, I think you're entitled to run in any race you like, so good on Amy. But any interest in Skyfire today?
Well, there is a little interest, and also Amy Johnston has taken it. There's been a lot of social media commentary, and there's been a lot of negative commentary. She has said straight away, listen, my owners want to have a run in the race. Sure, she's not going to beat, this horse is not going to beat Winks. However, just to try to put that all aside, she said straight away, the horse, if it runs 6th and gets the prize money of $10,000, I'll be donating my percentage to Make-A-Wish Foundation, just to make sure that everyone sitting at home has a nice feeling about Skyfire. It's going to be 300, maybe 500 to 1. It can't win, but I'll tell you what, no one thought Dandy Andy could win the Australian Cup, did they, Bruce?
They did not. Those jockeys in the clock tower, like Melbourne Cup Day, a couple to come up. Last thoughts?
Just hope that it all goes well, and as Darren Weir said, they all got around safely, and it'll be a great contest.
I'd love the Victorians to see the real Winks today.
Well, we've seen her a couple of times at Moonee Valley. Let's hope we do at Flemington. Here's Matt Hill.
Rolls on at Flemington, and they're ready for the Turnbull. Winks a little bit edgy in the barriers. The signal. Stalls are back, and they're racing at the 2,000 metres. Good line 2. Magicool is going to show speed on the inside and lead Ventura Storm. Out deeper on the track, a sign is trying to push up, and they were followed followed by Sir Isaac Newton. Wink settles down fifth on the inside of Humidor. Skyfire is last of all as they complete the first 400 metres of the Turnbull. It's the outsider, Magicool, in front by 2.5 lengths. Sir Isaac Newton pulls its way up to second. Ventura Storm third the inside. Two further back in the field is A Sign, followed by Winks, who would spot the speed about 7 or 8. Humidor is second last, trails the great champ, and at the end is Skyfire. Heading towards the 1250, it's Magicool by a length and a half, Sir Isaac Newton. 4 lengths Ventura Storm, two further back A Sign. Winks is in plenty of room, plenty of air at the 1200 metres, followed by Humidor, and last of all is Skyfire. They're strung out. Magicool heads towards the 1000 marker by a length and a quarter, Sir Isaac Newton. They're 4 lengths in front of Ventura Storm. They were followed by A Sign, 3 lengths away to Winks. Then came Humidor on the outside of Skyfire. They come up towards the 800 marker, and it's Magicool about to be tested here by on the outside Sir Isaac Newton, and they're 2 lengths in front of A Sign, Ventura Storm. Winks is ever getting so closer, only about 4 off the lead and stalks them, followed by Humidor, and Skyfire is last around the turn. 500 metres to go. A Sign moves up on the outside of Sir Isaac Newton. A length Ventura Storm. Winks Bowman hasn't flinched. He's doing it easily. And then came Humidor, Magicool and Skyfire across the track at the 300. Winks has ambled up on the outside. Racing Royalty goes to the lead. Racing's Wonder of the World puts up 2 lengths, 3 lengths. Ventura Storm followed by A Sign, but it's all Winks. 5 or 6 lengths in front. Look at her go with 100 metres to go. 21 today on the biggest dance floor of them all. Winks by 8 lengths. Ventura Storm second, Humidor third, fourth A Sign, fifth Sir Isaac Newton, and in a battle of the 300 to 1 shots, Magicool and Skyfire have almost dead heated.
It's a great call by Matt. Really, he's just summed it up perfectly, didn't he? Hey, all those out there are going to say, we were there. We saw it. We were there the day she won the Turnbull by 8 or 9 lengths. How good was that?
Basically untouched. Huey was cantering coming into the straight, and just an absolute champion.
I was getting nervous, like it was my horse. At about the halfway mark, I thought, gee, those leaders are a long way in front and the track might be a bit hard, but when she ambled up behind them and then just eased to the outside, and she was still under a hold and they were all rubbing to try and keep up with her, I thought, oh, they're going to see just rump steak, that's all.
Well, you thought she'd improve, both of you, from Sydney, and she has. This is the best she's raced this time in by far. I mean, it was devastating. Humidor was a little confusing, to be honest. We've got to work that one out later. Ventura Storm's run okay, but this was just so good. And have a look at Huey there, hands and heels.
He just had a look in the at the big screen on the inside.
Yeah.
And thought, I'm a mile in front.
And there's Mrs. Bowman.
Christine, she's look at her. She's rubbing the rosary beads, and here we go.
We're home. Isn't that great?
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Oh, she's a beautiful girl, isn't she?
She is.
And Huey's a better man for having her.
Indeed. I tell him that every time I see him.
I think they carry as much pressure.
Hey, let's go to Huey after that marvellous win. Just pick that up for a second. We just can't hear what Huey's got to say. I know that Rich will get him in.
Swallow now. Sorry to interrupt, Mick. Congratulations. Well, she passes the Flemington test and does it easily.
Was there a test? No, she's a brilliant horse, and whatever you ask her to do, she does. As simple as that. She makes us all look great, and it's just great that the public embrace her, not just here at Flemington today, but back home and around Australia.
21 in a row. I mean, it is a figure that's quite extraordinary. Happy 21st to you. Sense of relief?
Yeah, every time. Yeah, we don't want it to disappoint.
I can imagine that pressure just keeps building.
Yeah, it does. I thought it wouldn't get any higher than it did probably 12 months ago going to the Cox Plate, but I guess there's so much support, but there's always 1% of doubters, but she probably proved most of them wrong today, I'd say.
And you've kept changing her preparation. She went into her first Cox Plate 3rd run, her second Cox Plate 4th run, third Cox Plate 5th run. You could argue she's going better than ever.
Might be getting better at training.
You think you know a bit about it?
Yeah, no, she makes, as I said, she makes us all look good. in what she does. There's no training manual for a horse like Winx, and we've managed to get it right, but she makes us get it right.
And that piece of track work on Monday gave you immense confidence?
That satellite might not have been wrong. We didn't go out there to run time, but I think she did set around 21 seconds, and I didn't believe it, so I had my stopwatch was set a bit more, so I used that and not the satellite.
Definitions of greatness, when we think about it, some would argue she goes better the Melbourne way than Sydney.
Possibly. She goes pretty good in Sydney. She's not. It's hard to say. She certainly doesn't go any worse.
Okay, onwards and upwards to a crack at 3 Cox Plates now.
Yeah, for sure. And and beyond that, obviously, a racing career is far from over.
Congratulations. Thanks for bringing her out today. I think everyone's so pleased to see her. Well done.
Thanks very much.
Sensational. There is Chris Waller, a very happy trainer.
Great stuff, Jason. Yeah, and $1.20, so that was that price. Ventura Storm, well, they'll be pleased with that. And Humidor, a little confusing. He didn't travel well. He hung in. We know he does that, but he was off the bit for a long way from home, wasn't he?
He was. He looked like a horse to me that was really feeling the firm ground out there today, and be quite a concern for Darren Weir going forward to the Caulfield Cup, coming off a run like that.
Yeah, it was a bit of a bluey, but
no bluey here, Rich.
No, she's just bomb-proof. She's the most magnificent racehorse. I can only imagine what it's like to train her, because she can run the time on the training track. She comes out and repeats it on race day. She never lets you down. She puts herself in the right positions, and even when she's in impossible positions, she still manages to reel them in. She's just the full package.
I love seeing champions like her walk back up the race like that too. It's nearly like they know that they're that good, and she's just embracing all of the crowd applauding her and Huey back up that beautiful Flemington race,
which she's never done before. No. You know, Peter Ty, one of the owners, is with you, Richo.
Pete, listen to this reaction that your horse is getting at Flemington. It's such a special reaction.
Mate, that was the best win, I think, that she's done. I've yet to take it all in, but, mate, absolutely fantastic. The crowd couldn't be any better. It's just breathtaking.
She's walking around. We don't want to get into her way, but she looks like she could go around again.
Yeah, she loves coming to Melbourne, mate, much as I do. So she just gets here, and she's a different horse in Melbourne, and I think she's proved it again today. You know, 4 times here for 4 big wins.
And Huey rode her so confidently, and this reaction is just immense, isn't it?
Mate, it makes it worthwhile own a horse, I'll tell you. Just the people that have come out here, you can't thank them enough. It's just heartwarming. It really is, mate.
Well, mate, thanks for allowing us to be a big part of it. Everyone at home in Australia feels like we're a bit of a part of this.
Oh, mate, it is. To everybody, thank you. Thank you much everywhere. Thank you.
Well done, mate.
And she hasn't looked any better than this, and that's saying something. I mean, we've seen her in all her glory in the Cox Plate. I mean,
position to be in.
Is it going to be a long 3 weeks, I reckon, for Chris Waller?
Every time, like even for our own horses, you know, that are much lower grade, every time they walk out, you hold your breath.
Oh, Richo, grab Christine, Richo. She's got. Now I'm very envious, Richo.
I know. I'm next to your favourite man in the world, Bruce. Bruce described her today as glorious. I think that's a fair description.
I think so. I mean, look, I'm running out of words to say. I really can't add to what's already been said. She's a very special athlete, and to be a part of it is it's a great honour. It carries a lot of expectation, and it carries a lot of responsibility, but you know I can rely on her, and I just, I can't explain my feeling leading up to the race. I'm thinking about, what scenarios I might find myself in where I need to rectify the situation and get her where I need to be to allow her to do her thing. But with a genuine gallop today, the race sorted itself out. I didn't have to think too much about it. I just sat there and enjoyed the ride like everybody else.
Didn't she travel sweetly today?
She travelled much better today. She was more comfortable underneath me today. So I don't know why that was at Randwick, that she was not so enthusiastic about a job. I mean, she obviously got it done in great fashion, but I could tell as soon as I got over her neck and went to the barriers this afternoon, that we were in business, and it was no surprise to me that she performed like she did, and I guess it's no surprise to anyone, but the expectation is up there, and I'm just relying on her to deliver every time, and she doesn't let me down. I'm so proud of her.
Happy 21st amazing wins in a row. Could you argue she's going into this third Cox Plate better than ever?
look, she's as good as ever. You know, I mean, she's been so dominant, you know, and she's developed physically and mentally as the time's gone on.